now that I'm a certified stablecoin crash expert, watch my previous video, I feel we may have a nuclear time bomb ticking right under our greedy crypto noses. Because if the shocking truths about Tether come out and reach the masses, and they're quite shocking by the way, I feel we may have the most catastrophic crypto sell-off ever. And if you thought Luna and UST was a bloodbath, well, this is gonna be like the KPG extinction event that killed the dinosaurs. Except this will kill your crypto wallet. And you'll probably be left with David Attenborough commentating on you in 100 years.
The story of global decline during a single lifetime.
It's gonna happen. So right now, take 2 seconds, deep breath, smash the like button, let's get to it. There are dozens of red flags surrounding Tether. You know, the world's biggest, most popular, most used stablecoin, with a market cap only behind that of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And unlike the UST and Luna debacle, I've been actually following Tether on and off for quite some time. And thanks to Timothy Ashcraft, who commented on my previous video and reminded me that there's another stablecoin implosion right on the horizon. By the way, if you have something interesting to share, leave a comment and I'll feature the best ones in my next videos. And also, shout out to CoffeeZilla, who made a really good video on Tether, albeit a bit too long. So today I will try to condense everything we know about Tether and why the winter is coming. Let's take it from the beginning. A bit of a backstory on what Tether is. Essentially, it's a shady, unregulated Federal Reserve in the crypto world. It prints USDT, the market crashes, everybody switches their crypto back to USDT. They print more to meet the demand, prices rise, the market is now inflated with USDT. When prices inevitably crash again, because it's crypto, everybody converts their cryptos back to USDT. So they print more. In essence, it's a never-ending printing machine. Unlike the Fed, which uses fancy words like quantitative easing and is actually regulated by checks and balances, Tether is basically a total shot in the dark. In fact, an even better way to think about it is Tether is like an unregulated bank. You go to the bank and swap your dollars for tethers. $1, 1 tether. And then your dollar supposedly goes and sits in Tether's reserves. And when you want to switch back your tether for your dollar, supposedly should happen like this. Bring back your tether, get back your dollar. In theory. But here's the problem. This may have worked back in 2014, when Tether was still small. But as of right now, there are 74 billion tethers in supply. Which means, in theory, that there should be $74 billion sitting in Tether's warehouse somewhere, ready to be exchanged back for tethers at any moment. Maybe not in actual money, but other liquid assets that can readily be exchanged for money should there be a need. This much bread in reserves means that Tether, if it were a bank, would also be in the top 50 of American banks. But unfortunately, it's not a bank, it's just an unregulated offshore company without any real auditing done to prove that it actually has the money. What they do have are these independent accountant reports on their website. But honestly, these are done by pretty much shady companies registered in the Cayman Islands. And I mean, it's just like with brokers. Would you do a business with a broker that's registered somewhere in the Caribbean? I don't think so. And I've always advised not to. In fact, this is not even worth looking at. And it's really plain and simple. As of May 2022, we still don't know if Tether actually has the money in their reserves. And well, it's actually quite important to know this, because Tether is literally the foundation of liquidity in the whole crypto market. Which begs the question, if they are this transparent dollar equivalent in the crypto world, why are they so hell-bent on hiding their reserves? Hiding the money that holds its peg to the real dollar. Say what you will, but unlike stocks, unlike commodities, unlike Forex, cryptos don't really generate value on their own. A stock is a share of a successful company that generates money. A commodity can be used in dozens of different applications. And the dollar is a tiny share of the US economy. So when you're trading Euro USD, you're trading a tiny sliver of the European Union's economy versus the American economy. Cryptos are only priced in trust. And that also applies to stablecoins like USDT as well. Because even if it's not moving in price, people are still choosing to use it. And that is based in trust. So why in the world are we trusting Tether when the only answer they can give regarding their backing is, trust me bro? Tether even requested the New York State Supreme Court to prevent the public from examining documents that show the structure of Tether's reserves. So let me ask you again, why are we trusting Tether? In fact, Hindenburg Research has offered a $1 million bounty for anyone who can shed some light on Tether's reserves. So, why are we trusting this stablecoin again? And I will tell you why this is important now. Obviously, I'm saddened by the UST situation and people losing money, but as a good mentor of mine once put it, nothing in this world is just good or bad. It depends. And the good thing about Luna and UST's historical wipeout is that folks have once again started to ask the right questions. Where's Tether's backing coming from? In fact, if we look at the market cap, and market cap is a good indicator because one Tether is worth $1 times supply, there you get your market cap. Easily you can see how much money is flowing into Tether or out of Tether. I don't know if you can see this, I'll just put it on the screen. We can see that since the Luna UST debacle started, more than $7.5 billion have already flowed out of Tether. Now, looking at it logically, if it was backed 1-to-1, there would be no way for the price to depeg because $1 equals 1 Tether, right? So how does a depeg happen? But as Tether explained, it was only due to limited liquidity on Binance. And in fact, they posted this PhD level paper on how Tether is able to maintain its peg when other stablecoins fall. Except the article did not explain anything substantial. Instead, it reiterated what we already know now, is that collateralized stablecoins are more stable than algorithmic ones. And essentially they use this as an opportunity to throw some shade on UST. And regarding their reserves, not a word, not a peep. All they're saying is Tether works because it's always worked, and essentially, trust me bro, the real freaking answer to this question, how is Tether able to maintain its peg, is not here. What we're looking for is where is the money, what it consists of, how it's invested, where is it stored, are there rats, questions like that. What they're saying here is basically the same thing that I'm saying, is that Tether is built on trust, it always has been trusted, and it will continue to be trusted in the future. Basically, the foundation that holds $74 billion is built on, plain and simple, hope. And if you remember, once upon a time, people also trusted Bernie Madoff, that he would make them money. They also trusted Jordan Belfort. They also trusted Do Kwon. I mean, trust is not really that hard to come by in the crypto world. And similarly to Do Kwon, Tether is also saying, essentially, trust me bro, we got the money, despite all the red flags that the crypto community is talking about all the time. And then we have to consider Tether's team. 34 people in charge of $74 billion, and nobody to check where those dollars are. So what if 100 million slips through a crack here or there? Nobody will even notice. You know what else has 34 employees? My local Starbucks, if we count the delivery guys and janitors and everything. And not to throw any shade at baristas or Starbucks or anyone, mistakes happen. Even there, 34 people can't get my coffee right. Sometimes when I ask for no sugar, specifically ask for no sugar, there's sugar in my coffee. Are we to believe that 34 unregulated people can handle 75 billion without pocketing just a little bit? Just tiny bit. I don't think so. Now, if you'll excuse me for a second, let me read you something, and I'll let you decide. In Tether's terms of service, and I actually read all of them, it says this: Tether reserves the right to delay the redemption or withdrawal of Tether tokens, if such delay is necessitated by the illiquidity or unavailability or loss of any reserves held by Tether. They reserve the right to not pay you if the reserves go poof. If they cease to exist, you're out of luck, buddy. Also, Tether makes no representations or warranties about whether Tether tokens that may be traded on the site at any point in the future, if at all. No. You don't understand. We got the money. Essentially what they're saying is that if Tether runs out of cash, when the team has bought all the yachts and all the houses and there's no more to buy, basically they have no obligation to pay you back the money that you exchanged for Tether tokens. I mean, How blatant can it get? Oh, I forgot. It also says here, Tether tokens are 100% backed by Tether's reserves. That's like me saying I'm Satoshi's cousin. How would you know? I mean, I am. And if I had 10 million subscribers, somebody ought to believe it. So yeah, Tether tokens are backed 100% by the reserves, the same reserves that have a $1 million bounty on them. Listen folks, I'm not done here, but if you'll excuse me for a second, I want to thank today's sponsor, The Trading Game, which is an app where you can learn how the markets work, find the best trading strategies, and then test them in a one-to-one real-time market simulator. The best part is that there are no false promises and no shady terms of service. The app is 100% free, no in-app purchases, no ads, nothing, nada. Plus you get the hottest market signals twice a day, and possibly even make some money that way. Anyways, back to Tether, or Bitfinex, which is a crypto exchange owned and operated by Bitfinex, registered in Washington, D.C. Was it Washington? London, UK. Sydney, Berlin, Tokyo, Paris, for Christ's sakes. Of course not. The British Virgin Islands, which some fake gurus would say is the most trustworthy place for storing your money and your digital assets. Sunny, nice beaches, beautiful people. I mean, what could be wrong except that there's no regulation there? Well, what does this Bitfinex have to do with Tether? Well, Bitfinex and Tether have the same owners. They're essentially the same company with two different branches. And one of them is Tether, one of them is Bitfinex. One is a shady, scammy crypto exchange with multiple fines and court proceedings over the years. The other is a stablecoin. Turns out the most trusted, by the way. $1 million.
It was at this moment that he knew.
And back in 2021, Bitfinex, which is really Tether and Bitfinex combined, had to pay $18.5 million to the New York State's Attorney General's office for basically lying about Tether's reserves, and for moving hundreds of millions of dollars between the two companies to cover up the massive losses that Bitfinex saw in 2017 and 2018. So if I'm just reading between the lines here, and if I'm right, it sounds like Tether was using their reserves, aka your money, my money, to cover up losses and bail out a super shady crypto exchange. The question I have once again is, why are we trusting Tether? Come on, man. It's always worked. But it's always worked because of trust, and I'll be the first one to admit. I also used to think that this is a legit project. And I also have made the mistake of blindly trusting crypto projects in the past because they've made me money. Hey, I'm only human. This is a little bit different. And I want to be clear, this is purely my subjective personal opinion. I cannot verify what I'm saying with 100% accuracy. I'm only basing it on the publicly available information and facts. Also, it's important to remember that I'm barely scratching the surface of this story. There's so much more, but it's necessary for me to keep this short and simple because I want you to think hard about putting your money in Tether's imaginary reserves. Believe it or not, crypto trust is at all-time lows, and trust is not purely measured by prices. There's other factors at play because many believers have now turned to simple speculators for profit. And if the Tether project, which is top 3 by market cap and top 1 by daily trading volume, turns out to be a giant scheme right under our noses, as more and more evidence leads us to believe it is, this would be hands down the biggest slam dunk KO, call it whatever you want, dent in crypto trust in history. There's likely a reason why Warren Buffett says he would not buy all the Bitcoin in the world for $25. And we cannot just say he's 200 years old, drinks cokes, and doesn't understand anything. I mean, the man's a freaking legend. And clearly, maybe it's a possibility that he has some understanding of the inner workings of the crypto market as it is now that perhaps we don't. Make no mistake, I'm still investing in a bunch of different crypto assets, shorting a few others, but quite frankly, the UST crash really opened my eyes. I don't even know why I'm pointing to the screen. There's nothing there. The USD crash really opened my eyes, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried of what is about to happen next. I mean, Tether can print indefinitely without any real backing. They can bail out their shady broker partnership. When that runs out of money, they can use Tether to prop up the price of Bitcoin and other crypto assets. All the while, they have sucked up billions of dollars of your money without any provable, audited way of paying them back. When Friedman LLP tried to audit Tether, they were basically shunned away for asking too much questions, which, according to Tether, put the company's operating procedures behind the scenes at risk from competitors. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. To me, it looks like a scheme that's running right in front of our eyes. And in fact, Tether is so big and so intertwined with all the various crypto exchanges where it acts sort of as an onboarding device in the crypto world. And it gives so much liquidity to the markets, to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, to pretty much everything, that its collapse, I mean, it would be absolutely catastrophic to the entire crypto industry. And in fact, here's a conspiracy theory. It could be one of the main catalysts for governments saying, enough's enough, we're taking charge here. It's either our crypto or none at all. Think about it. Let me know what you think. So to answer the question, my original question, will Tether collapse? Time will tell. I feel with around 75% accuracy that it will. If it goes down suddenly and quickly, it's going to be bad. If it slowly gets weeded out by alternative stablecoins, maybe like USDC, then it will be less severe. And remember, the only thing that really matters in this story, doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter whether they actually have the reserves or not, whether it is a scam or not. The only thing that matters is that they have no obligation to pay you back. It's in writing, right? Remember that. Stay safe, guys. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.